Welcome to 2Cents FC. I'm your host, Amobi Okugo, back again with my guy, L. Each week, we'll be talking with individuals from around the soccer world, learning about their stories and getting their unfiltered thoughts and opinions. This week, I'm very excited. We're joined by one of my best friends in the game, founder of LBF, Live Breathe Futbol, Mr. LBF himself, Ebun Olaloye. We'll be talking Jose Mourinho's new job. Shout out to the special one. Olivia Moultrie's NWSL lawsuit. And it's just a good week. And then Champions League final and more. First and foremost, Ebun, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. Thanks for having me, man. Can't complain. Weather's nice out. You know what I'm saying? We're rocking, so I'm feeling good.
Nah, thanks for making the time. This is the first time I didn't have to hit up your assistant and to hit up the secretary.
Oh, hang on a second. That's cap. I don't have an assistant or a secretary. I probably should get an assistant though. Oh my God, I'll be so busy these days. But man, of course, yeah. we go way back, bro. So anything, man, I'm here for you, bro.
No, respect. Yeah. So for context, so Ebun was literally my first friend outside of the Philadelphia Union team in Philadelphia. We met randomly. His older cousin had a Nigerian restaurant, so I was there like once, twice a week. And Ebun found out, and then we just linked up, and then we actually met like officially at an Ethiopian spot, right? It was an Ethiopian spot?
A Senegalese spot.
Senegalese spot. Yeah,
because my cousin's restaurant closed down, and then I guess you were trying to find other like African spots in the city, and I was like, yo, I know another spot, and then we just kind of like linked from there.
Yeah. Then he had me waiting out in the cold. But it's been all love since then. So
yeah, I remember I just walked past, I didn't even know it was you.
So
good times, man. Good times.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into our relationship, everything you're doing with LBF. But first question we ask everybody: when did you fall in love with soccer?
No, we gotta do 2 truths in the cap first.
Oh yeah, my bad. Run it back. 2 truths in the cap, and make sure it's unbiased because obviously.
So about myself.
Yeah, 2 truths in the cap.
Yeah.
2 truths in the cap.
Or it can be about the brand too, if it's something you think Amobi might not know.
Okay. Let's see. I was born in South Jersey. I studied engineering at Temple, and wait, hang on a second. I just messed that up. No, I didn't. Studied engineering at Temple, and LBF is going to be 10 years old this year.
Do another one too.
Oh, it's okay. Another one. I'm the oldest sibling in my family. I'm the oldest of 3.
Do another one.
I'm
trying to help L out. I want to make sure when I beat him, he's not saying I know anything.
Okay. I've never been outside the country.
Wait. Okay.
Wait, hang on a second. No, that can't.
Yeah, what's going on, my guy?
Bro, this is so hard. I got to think of. Okay, so we need one more. We've done 2 collections with Major League Soccer.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good question. All right. So we good?
Yeah.
All right. To recap, you're getting rid of the Jersey one.
Yeah. So,
okay. All right,
to recap, I was born in South Jersey.
No, get rid of that one.
Get rid of that one. What?
You wasn't born in South Jersey.
Yeah, but you say it's 2 truths in a cap.
Yeah, but I already know that,
Oh, so is that something you don't know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm just trying to make it fair for L because L's been kicking my ass. So I'm making sure like he don't have anything like, well, you knew Ebun, so I'm like, nah.
But that's hard, bro. Like, cause you know me better than most people do, so it's gonna be hard for me to come up with something that you don't know about.
No, thanks.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. All right, I'm gonna do 3 new ones. Okay, so
All right.
I'm 5'11". I play on the wing. When soccer, I play on the wing, and I've worked with a major sports brand. That's 3.
Yeah. Damn.
That's better. Movie's a little quiet right now, so I feel like
And we can't ask follow-up questions. I got a couple follow-up questions, but nah, we can't.
So you got to guess which one is the cap,
lie.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you got to be capping on 5'11". No one says 5'11". It's either like 6 foot, they round up, or it's 5'10". So that's my answer.
That's funny.
Yeah, I might roll with that one too.
You know, that was obviously the cap. Because I'm so obviously not 6 foot, but I was like, I'm 5'10", so like 5'11".
Yeah, exactly. So no one that's one of my homegirls say, like, if a guy says they're 5'11", they lie. So ever since then, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, they either round up or they like are honest. So no one ever says 5'11".
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's great. All right, so 2 truths in the cap, but let's get into it. First question we ask everyone is, when did you fall in love with soccer?
When did I fall in love with soccer? My earliest memory of playing soccer was like back in Nigeria where I was born, right? I think I was maybe, I want to say like 4 or 5. Like just my uncle bought me a soccer ball, just kicking it around the house, right? And then there's a soccer field across the street from my house in Nigeria. Like I would just, every day after school, I'd go play from 6 to 7:30. And at 7:30, I could literally see my house from the soccer field. And my dad literally got me a watch that was set to like, the alarm would go off at 7:30. So like, get your ass back in the house. I would look at the watch. I would look at the house and I'd be like, 30 more minutes. Now, every single day it was the same thing. I would get in trouble. I'd get beat. I'd get grounded. But I'd be right back. So that was just basically, I would get beat. I'd get in trouble. I'd get grounded. The next day I'd beg, oh, Dad, can I go play? Please, all my friends out there say I can't, I finished my homework. Okay, fine. 7:30 again. Make sure you come home. And this was just kind of like my life for, and that's what I remember most about growing up in Nigeria. So for me, like my fondest memories were playing soccer growing up in Nigeria. So that's when I first fell in love with the game. Just always like watching the Super Eagles, you know what I mean? Because we didn't really get like Premier League. I mean, I think we'd maybe watch like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, because those are the only teams we could really watch at that time. But for me now, like that's kind of like my earliest memory of really falling in love with the game.
No, respect. So obviously you're Nigerian born and bred, but talk about, your upbringing, moving to the States. How was it finding soccer out here? Nigeria, soccer's number one. It's in the blood. But then coming to the States where you got basketball, you got football, you got school, you're adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
How is it to still maintain that love for soccer and, just your adjustment coming stateside?
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, it was tough at first, just because, again, like I think we talk about like in Nigeria, like soccer was everywhere. Like it's just what like I did, is what my friends did, is what we watched. My uncle, like dad, uncles, friends, down to everyone. Like everyone's into football, right? But then coming here, it was kind of like I was the only one that was into it. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, I could go to the field, not too far from my house and juggle by myself, or I play my backyard. But like it was just kind of me, and it was like, oh, everyone else plays basketball. So I started playing basketball for a little bit. I mean, I still had that love for soccer. Anytime I could get a chance to watch it or whatever, like whenever it was on, I tried to catch it, but it wasn't really as prevalent as it was for me when I was growing up in Nigeria. And obviously then, going to high school, it's like, oh, I can join a high school soccer team, right? So I can bet, like now I can like really kind of get back into this thing that I really care about so much. But it was tough for a while just because like, in my neighborhood, like everyone played basketball or baseball. Yeah. No one played soccer. So okay, you're the black kid that wants to play soccer. Like what? Like where do they do that type of thing? So I'd always go to like my cousin's house because there was a field across from his house. I'm like, well, if I go to Dilly's house, like I can just like walk across the street with my ball and just like practice, like just touch. So I wasn't really, there was no real game situations. I would have liked it, just kind of like me just trying to just juggle or kick a ball around because I kind of had that love and I needed to kind of like, exercise that.
Yeah. So you never had the chance to play for like a competitive travel team or anything like that?
No, because like one, my mom couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? Like she was working like multiple jobs. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I'll play during the season. And then like, maybe in the summertime where like before the season started, like a couple of the homies like Marco and like his brother would like, they knew like other leagues. So they would like drive. So I'd drive with them. So we'd go like to, way far down South Jersey to just play. But like, I never got a chance to play travel soccer, unfortunately, just because like it was just not a reality for my family at the time.
No, I appreciate you saying that because, on past episodes, we've had a lot of people talk about, the pay to play and, being accessible to everyone. And, your situation is different, but it still speaks to the value, like someone growing up wanting to play, wanting to get involved and just not having that opportunity to that extent.
Yeah.
So talk about, you get to college, you get to Temple, you run in Temple. Talk about how Live Breathe Football started.
Yeah, so a little bit of a kind of backtrack. Like in high school, I started like making T-shirts. I kind of knew at that point like I wanted to get into like the clothing apparel space, right? Like that's kind of how I made money. Like I couldn't really get a job enough like that, so I would just like make shirts, sell them to my friends for $15-20, and that's how I was able to like buy sneakers, pay my cell phone bill, that kind of thing, right? And then at Temple, like I found these people that were like we used to play. I think Dom was the first person that told me like, yo, these guys play every night. You know what I mean? Like from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And I was like, oh, this is dope, right? And then he's like, actually, these other guys play from 6 to 9, and that's better. I was like, the best. So now I can actually go to bed early, like wake up and go to class and stuff. And like, so it was this group of people that was just everyone like lived and breathed football. So that was kind of the inspiration for the brand at the time. And then I just remember like I was in class one day just drawing, and like the shirts just kind of like the word just kind of came up on the joint, like Live Breathe Football, and I was like, okay, this is something, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I had the idea from when I was 19 years old. It wasn't until I was like 21 I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something with this. You know what I mean? Like with this thing. And I was like, 21, all right, cool. I'm gonna make 21 shirts. This says Live Breathe Football on it, and I'm gonna put them online, see what it does. And then they kind of sold out in like an hour. I was like, oh snap. It was only 21 shirts. It's not that many shirts, but I was like, this is cool. Like 21 random people on the internet bought something that I made. Like that was kind of special to me. So that was kind of really how it just kicked off from there. You know what I mean? And then
yes,
here we are.
From that standpoint, all right, 21 shirts. And it's like, all right, now do I start a whole business, or it's like, all right, I'm going to do another drop?
Nah, it wasn't even, I didn't know anything about business, bro. I was just like making shirts, and I was like, oh, I spent $160 to make these shirts. Now it's $400 something. I was like, that's cool. And then it was like, obviously I was still in school, still an architect, still obviously trying to like graduate or whatever it was. But I just remember like every time I'd go to like studio in my classes, like it just became more and more of what I wanted to spend my time on. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh crap, like I could be building this model. And things, I loved architecture, like which is my major at the time. I love this, but like I find myself in class like spending more time drawing and making these shirts. And like you were saying, it was like random drops. Like, if I got inspired by something that happened in soccer, I would drop a shirt, people would buy it, that kind of thing. But I remember it wasn't until I was about to graduate that my professor, she called me. I always tell this story. She called me to her office like, you're not doing too well. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like, and this is studio. So studio is not one of those classes you can like, I'm just taking it again next semester. Like you fill a studio, like you're a whole year behind. You know, like this is like, my junior year. I'm like, okay, I don't want to fail. And two, like, architecture is one of those classes where like, there's majors where like, it's very small. So there's like 20 something to 30 something kids in our class. So everyone knows everyone, and you kind of like move, year by year together. So I don't want to be going, that was left back. Now you're with the previous, the second years, and like, you're looking crazy. So, but she was like, listen, I know when you come to the studio, like I can tell you're not like dicking around, like you're doing something, but you're just not doing studio work. And she said, just promise me that like this thing you're doing, like you're a really talented kid. I think whatever you decided to do in life, you'll be successful. I just make sure like you're focused on that. So I'll pass you so you can graduate, but just make sure you take this seriously. And that was kind of like the moment I was like, okay, like now I can't fuck around, because she basically like, that was like a gift that she gave me. It was like, okay, I'll make sure like I pass it so you graduate. Because she didn't have to do that. She just been like,
facts.
Nigga, you're not doing your work. Sorry, like better luck next year type of thing, So she passed me. I was able to graduate. I was like, all right, cool. Like now I had her blessing. I can just like, so I literally just come to studio and just design shirts. Like that's what I was doing for till like I graduated. And then from that point on, I was like, okay, I don't have schoolwork to worry about now. Let me just try to focus on building this and making like a proper business, which I still didn't even really know how to do. But I was like, at least now I have all my time to be able to focus on that, not worry about studying or building models or, drawing plans and stuff like that.
Mad respect to the teacher though, because like anything, there's always that one person that helps you, take it to that next level. So in soccer, whether it's like a coach that like gives you your first breakthrough, or like a meditation coach, or in your case, a teacher. So shout out to that. But obviously you're Nigerian. Entrepreneurship. How did that come about? Like when you had to tell your mom and your family, like, I know I went to school for architecture. I'm really talented at that. Yeah. I know you still do some work on the side when it comes to that, but how did that conversation go?
Well, I remember around the time, like I was just reading a bunch of stuff, and I came across this quote that said like, it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission, right? And I was like, oh, this applies to like Nigerian parents, like 100%. So my thing was like, all right, I'm just gonna start this brand. I'm not gonna tell my mom about it. Like, I'm just gonna do it. So I was already doing LBF. I think it wasn't until like, we were on like, I think it was like some show in Philly, like the Today Show or something. We gave away like 75 shirts to the audience, something like that. And then someone from our church watched the show. I was like, oh, like I saw your son on TV, da 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 da. So that's kind of how my mom found out about LBF, right? Yeah. And for me at that point, it was a lot easier of a sell to tell her like, hey, look, like I'm doing this business, like this is what I want to do. Like I'm not gonna go to grad school. So the first chance I really had to tell her that was like on my graduation day, like I'm not going to grad school, because the conversation we had before that was like, go to grad school, like get the best degree you possibly can, get a job, all like the traditional stuff. Like I've always known like that was just not my path, So that was the first time I really had the confidence to tell her like, look, like this is what I want to do. And things before this happened, like, we were on TV, Today Show, we won the Union T-shirt design competition. There was a few things under my belt that like weren't massive deals really, but it's kind of like, okay, well, there's something here that I think is worth exploring a little bit, So once I told her, she just kind of knows like, I've always kind of been a stubborn kid. I was going to do whatever I wanted to do regardless anyway. So she's like, all right, like that's fine, And so like that was really how that played out. And thankfully, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of paid off. So, she's not really worried about, going to grad school or getting a job now.
No, I think that's, you said it best. I mean, when it comes to Nigerian parents, and it's why we love them and no fault of their own. It's like negative encouragement. And it's just because they want us to do well. So they want us to do like the most, like the path to least resistance, like engineer, doctor, architect, lawyer. So it's like you almost have to have signs of successfulness, and it's like, oh, I always knew you were going to do that. Like,
exactly.
What are you talking about? Like,
exactly. Yeah, I get it though. For them, it's like it's a matter of like there's safety, right? Like if you become a doctor, like that path has been charted. Everyone's walked that path millions of times. If you go to med school, you graduate, like you'll get a job, right? If you become an attorney, you'll get a job. It's just like, okay, you're gonna start a business selling shirts about soccer. Like, it's such a foreign concept to think about. It's like there's no precedent for that. I think that's what really kind of concerns them. But it's like, there's no precedent for that. But like, there's plenty of other people who walk different paths and been successful. So for me, those are my inspirations, and that was like what made me feel confident about kind of taking this journey. No,
that's great, and that's a perfect segue to my next question. Is like, what's the hardest thing about starting LBF that you've learned so far, and then from the standpoint of like someone wanted to follow in your footsteps, like what would you tell them? Like, all right, this is what I did, but you need to do it this way.
Yeah. I would say the hardest thing was like that knowledge gap, right? Mm-hmm. That you don't know what you don't know, right? Because for me, it was like, there weren't really any entrepreneurs in my family. I didn't know anything about even making clothes really. It was just kind of like, okay, I have this idea and I'm just going to start it, right? So like you said, you take one step and then you learn a few things and you take another step and you kind of keep going from there. So for me, that was the hardest thing, was just like not even really knowing what I was doing. Like I had an idea of what I wanted to accomplish and where I wanted to go. I had no idea how to get there. Didn't really have the resources to. So that was really the hardest thing, was kind of realizing that and getting over that. And also doing and building a business without any financial like stability. Like I didn't have a job. It was kind of like, okay, I'll just whatever the business made, put it back in. Whatever the business made, that's kind of always been our motto. So it's like, it's tough to live that way when like, you're people you graduated with like a grad, they're they're buying houses. I'm
Yeah.
working here at this great company. It's like, I'm happy for you, but like, I just know that was never my path. So it's like trying to like justify putting all this time into something that is takes so long to materialize, you know what I mean? And business is challenging. You know, even now that we're doing well, like it's still growing pains associated with that. Whereas if you get a job, it's like, all right, well, whatever happens to the company, every 2 weeks I get a paycheck. Cool, you know. Yeah. So that was definitely the hardest thing, was just like not really knowing what I was doing or having any experience whatsoever.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. I think like playing that long game is hard, but it's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely important for sure.
Quickly, how has your architecture background kind of helped influence your design when it comes to clothing? Like think about like the kind of like on your Virgil Abloh type shit. Like he was an architecture student and now he's designing clothes. Mm-hmm. Like how does your architecture background kind of influence and help you with the way that you design?
That's a great question, right? Because I think it's helped me approach fashion and apparel in like a very structural way, you know, that's not really based on like trends, right? Like apparel is a very trendy industry. Okay, these colors are trending, like this aesthetic is trending. For us, it's like, okay, like what's the form and function of this garment that we're making, right? Because a building, when you design architecture, like, okay, this building is a house. So it has to have a bathroom and bedrooms and windows, and you kind of have all these limitations that you kind of have to like, or sort of these parameters you kind of have to work around. And I kind of approach design in that same way. It's like, okay, look, we're making these pants for soccer players. So like the construction has to be, you know, we have to think about that. The fabric has to kind of work for movement, but also be like stretchy, but like, you know, think about how does it look when you're not playing soccer? Like all these different things kind of come into my mind when I'm, you know, designing a product for us. So that's really like how I'll say architecture has influenced my my design, but also just even the structure of the program that I did at Temple it was very free. It was kind of, all right, cool. Like you have a studio class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think it was 1:40 to 5 or 6 or whatever. You have a project, 14 weeks a semester, go crazy. So there wasn't really that much structure. You kind of had to like, time management was up to you, building your models, your drawings, all that stuff was on you. So I think that kind of prepared me for starting a business, because it's like, all right, well, it's your thing to kind of like decide what it becomes, you know? So yeah, that's kind of how I would say that background has impacted my designing.
Oh.
No, that's really interesting. I've never heard you like I've never heard that question asked to you. So I thought that's really a great answer and provides insight to some of the products that you have. And I know we're gonna have all that stuff in the show notes, but the turbo pants, you know, some of the things that you designed in that, you know, like
perfect soccer pant.
Yeah, it really is though. Like every time I rock them, I get like, where'd you get those? Or
I need to grab me some. I've been looking at them. I need to grab some.
So it's like free promo every time I wear it. It's like no cap. But
I think that's great. Like I think it's awesome to just have made products that people like genuinely care about, right? It's like because that was kind of always the goal. That I want to make something like that's timeless, that lasts, and that people actually like, yo, I felt, even when I wear my strip pants, like, people are like, yo, where you get those pants at? And I'm like, okay, that's because not even soccer people asking me. It's just like some random fashion person like Saks or wherever I'm at. I was like, yo, those pants are dope, you know? And I think that's a great feeling for sure.
No, so to that point, what's been your favorite partnership to date? Or actually, when did you know, like, obviously you knew, but like, when was it where you had like an athlete or someone rock your apparel and you were like, what? Like, I didn't even have to hit them up. Like, how did they even get that in their hands? Like, what was that moment for you?
So, all right, I'll talk about that moment, but I think when you and I became friends, I was like, this is cool. Like, I'm friends with a professional soccer player. Like, that to me just was like the coolest thing ever. You know, even though like we were just homies, it was like, yo, this is dope. Like a professional soccer player. And then like, obviously just how you supported us even back then was super dope to me. This is even before anyone even like cared really what we were doing. Like you cared. So that was always dope to me. But I think the first moment I had was like when, I think it was like 2 a.m. I was like asleep. And like, I just remember my phone going off and like someone had tagged us in a post with Pato. This was back when he was still at AC Milan, had worn like the George Best shirt. You know what I mean? I think on the plane. So they had played like.
You gotta bring those back, man. Them timeless pieces.
Bro, listen, that's part of the goal for this year, is to bring a lot of those timeless pieces and turn them into the NFTs we talk about. But that's a different conversation. Yeah. But that moment was dope. I was like, oh snap, like Pato, because it's like everyone in the world knows who Alexander Pato is, and that was such a dope moment. And then David Luiz shortly after that was just kind of like, wait, what? Like that was dope. Yeah, those moments are pretty. But even now, it's like you'll get an order, and you see the name, and you be like, I know where he plays at. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like this is a Bundesliga player. Like, this is cool. You know what I mean? So it's starting to kind of take a life of its own. But I think Pato was definitely the first person that made me feel like, yo, okay, like, because it's like he saw that shirt and he just grabbed it. Was like, I want to wear this. To me, that's always like the cool part. Is like they can wear anything, you know. So to see them pick up what we've created is very cool.
No, that's what D-Wade was rocking some stuff recently too, right?
Yep. Yeah, the turbo shorts. Yeah.
You got some heavy hitters, man. Rocking LBF is different out here.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's like a good moment right now because it's like it's not even just people in the soccer space, because like that's kind of what it's for. So it's like, well, obviously they would rock it, but then it's people outside of that going, yo, I think that's dope. That's fresh. Yeah. That's like the biggest compliment.
Nah, so talk about that, because football is the global game, but it's so synonymous with culture, music, lifestyle. Did you always have that in the back of your mind when you started this apparel company, or was it sort of like, well, I rock with football, and I know people are gonna rock with me, and then go from there?
Nah, I mean, I think naturally when I create, all the things I'm into and passionate about kind of like show up in that. Like I've always been into fashion and clothing. Like I grew up like Ralph Lauren to me was like, you know what I mean? So I love music. Like, hey, I've been listening to hip hop since I was like 5 or 6, you know? Like I've been into fashion, clothes, design, cars, like all sorts of like different things. So like all those things kind of appear in the stuff that we're making. So I think because of that, when we're making the stuff we make, like is meant to work as like, well, do I want to wear this, you know?
Yeah. And
do I want to wear this on the pitch, but I don't want to wear this off the pitch. I think just that sensibility naturally, like people can kind of see that, like, oh, yo, you know what? Those are fly. Like one of my good friends out here in Philly, he doesn't care about soccer at all. He's like a designer head. He's wearing like Tom Ford, like Balenciaga, like all those like big designer brands, but he's always wearing Maestro pants. Like every single day he's wearing Maestro pants. And it's just, I'm like, okay, like if he thinks like that our brand can kind of play in that same level, that's cool, because like, yeah, he's gonna wear like a Dior t-shirt, like LBF pants. And like to me, that's like, okay, that kind of just shows that like the products that we're making kind of fit in so many different arenas, you know, because it's not just, oh, you can only wear this in this way versus that way.
No, that's a great point. I think that's why a lot of people rock with LBF. So quick question before I ask like the serious question: who got more fashion, you or your brother?
He does.
That's a great older brother question right there.
Yeah. So like for me, I'm more of like, I like the classic timeless stuff. You know what I mean? But he's kind of on top of everything. He's always like switching things up. Like he's a bit more like, he'll like explore different things. And I'm like, yo, I know what I like. You know what I mean? And I'll kind of like stay in a certain vein. Plus, it's also tough that I make clothes. So I'm like, I rarely go shopping for clothing now. So it's like, I'm wearing Maestro pants and LBF t-shirts all day, every day. Like he's experimenting and trying different things out. But he's a fresh kid for sure.
Okay, so I know I was going to ask you this earlier, but favorite partnership to date? Obviously, you guys just did the Bleacher Report BLM collab, which was amazing, not only for the social impact and the awareness that you guys brought, but just another knock on the list of goals that you have for LBF. Talk about some other partnerships, favorite partnerships, different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite. I think each one has challenged us in a different way, right? Because the first thing is when you do these collaborations, you work with a corporate entity. And for us, like we're not really that corporate in the way we operate. So it's a new experience each time. It's okay, there's 9 people on the phone call, so many stakeholders, and like you're just trying to like navigate everyone's like role in this sort of big picture. So that's like always an interesting challenge to kind of face up to. But I would say for me, if I had to pick, it would be Sporting KC. And just because of how organically that relationship came about, and just kind of how much they trusted us, before we even really like had. I mean, we'd been LBF, right? We've been doing our thing, but like they kind of gave us the opportunity to play on a big stage before anyone else did. And to me, that I'll always be grateful for them for that. So I think I would have to say Sporting KC for that reason, because they just like, it's like you take a chance on that young kid from the academy, right? He comes in and starts bagging goals. It's like, okay, now you know now you kind of look good by allowing that to happen. So for us, I would say definitely KC.
No, respect. Yeah, I remember when those dropped. Yeah. When the players rock with it, because they always like getting stuff, but that's how it's like.
Yeah.
So
I would say KC for sure.
When it comes to LBF, what's like the 5-year plan right now? I know you got long-term visions, but for the next 5 years, what you guys trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer is just to become like the premier soccer, football, lifestyle brand in the world, right? Because I think when we started, that wasn't even really a category. Like there are people making like soccer apparel, but like from like the lifestyle aspect of really like showing and telling the way that it's starting to be done now, I think we kind of pioneered that in a way. So I think it's like really saying, yeah, we're the big dogs in this. So for 5 years, like in 5 years, I want people to go, when you think about soccer lifestyle apparel, you think about LBF. So that's really the goal. So in terms of like numbers or what that looks like, I don't know, but that's like in 5 years, I want people to go, oh yeah, LBF. Those are the so make LBF like a household name in if you care about soccer, fashion, lifestyle, the culture of the game, I want LBF to be top of your mind.
No, that's love. I definitely think that's going to happen for sure. I feel like a lot of people are going to be outside this summer, and you're going to see a lot of turbo shorts, different colorways. I got to get another pair, but right now I'm rocking the black ones right now. So
that's dope.
But what you got, L?
I was going to say, definitely need to talk about an LBF 2Cents capsule collection or something.
Let's make it happen, bro.
Got to get something popping off for the summer.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and jump into these topics. We're going to do a little news
roundtable
this week. So we got 3 topics this week.
Yep.
First up, your boy Jose Mourinho survives again. He'll be taking over Roma.
How does he do it, man?
I don't know, man. The man keeps landing on his feet. So
the special one. What y'all talking about?
So after what some would consider like failing 10 years at Man United and Tottenham, the man bags another job, this time in Serie A. So back in Serie A, actually. So in a statement with the club said they're delighted to announce an agreement that has been reached with Jose Mourinho for him to become our new head coach ahead of 2021-22 season. Roma had earlier announced that current head coach Paulo Fonseca will leave at the end of the season, and Mourinho has agreed a contract with Roma until the end of 2024. So what do y'all think about this move for Roma and then also for Mourinho? Boone, I'll let you go first.
So I have 2 feelings on Jose Mourinho, right? On the one hand, I like him because like he's like I said, he always lands on his feet. Somehow, some way he does it. Like it's like he like fails forward, right? It's like Man U job. I mean, he didn't fail at Man U. Obviously, they won the Europa League. They finished second that year. Goes, it was like, no, he can't do it again. Goes to Spurs, and obviously that didn't work out. And then now Roma, because like I was on Twitter joking about he's going to end up in like MLS or like Nigerian, like just like he's not going to get another like top level job, but he always finds it. So not in regard, like I respect anyone that can navigate their way through a very tough, situation. Secondly, I just think I just don't like his approach. Like he seems like a very like heavy-handed person, and I think that approach worked, 10, 15 years ago when he was like coaching like the Portos and like the Chelsea, because like the plays at that time was kind of more rugged and like they responded to that tough love. This generation of players feels a bit different, not because they're soft, but because they just have more power and more say, right? Social media has kind of helped a lot with that. And so you need more sort of like a more gentle hand with these players. I just don't think Mourinho's adapted to this new style of management. You know what I mean? Like you can look at how Pep manages players or how Zidane, even Ali at United, like the way he handles players is very different from the way like Mourinho has to handle players. So I think the game is moving past Mourinho in that way. So is he going to do well at Roma? I don't know, but it's going to be entertaining at the very least, because he always comes with the banter. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, the special one as a personality, you can't beat him. He's like top coach when it comes to that regard. I think him going to Serie A is great for his style of play and his like approach to the game. But like Ebun said, when it comes to adapting to your players, that's what makes a great coach, and he still struggles with that because he's been so successful his way. It's hard to change, but the best coaches adapt when it comes to adjusting to different styles and trends and different things like that. So I think he's going to be successful. I think Roma is a good club. They're not going to like expect him to, come in and win Champions League. You get a couple of Coppa Italias, probably sneak into Serie A, Scudetto, whatever they call it. And then he only lasts like 3-4 years at the club and then go on to his next venture. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say he failed at Tottenham. He was supposed to, if he would have coached that cup final, he would have found a way to win, for sure.
You think so?
Yeah.
Against the City team?
Yeah, he would have found a way. But the best thing is because we'll never know. So I could say that and be like,
right.
Okay. The crazy plot twist would be if Roma signs like Dele Alli or somebody next season. That'd be super crazy plot twist.
Well, it's funny because isn't that what's his name at Roma right now? Mkhitaryan?
Chris Smalling and Mkhitaryan.
Yeah. Yep, that's good. That reunion is gonna be hilarious.
There's no reunion. Smallings is on his phone with his agent right now. He's like, "Hey, we gotta
get out of here.
Get me out of here."
That's funny. All right, so let's jump over to the women's side. So teen soccer phenom Olivia Moultrie is suing NWSL for the right to play in the league. So Moultrie is a 15-year-old soccer prospect who accepted a scholarship to UNC at age 11 and signed a marketing deal with Nike at age 13. So she's recently filed an antitrust lawsuit against the NWSL. She currently trains with NWSL's Portland Thorns and has played in scrimmages with the professional team, but she's only eligible to play officially with the youth squad. So the suit requests preliminary injunctive relief that will allow Moultrie to be eligible to sign a professional contract and play for the first team immediately. So court documents allege that if not for the age minimum, Moultrie would have been eligible to sign and would have already signed a professional contract to play for NWSL teams and could have signed a contract to do so last season. So the truth is, this is a quote, the truth is, if Olivia Moultrie was male, she'd already have played in MLS, said Miller Nash Graham and Dunn sports law attorney Max Forer. He's one of the lawyers who's representing her. And further, she's already eligible to play for the U.S. women's national team, but can't officially play in a league that develops and prepares talent for that national team. And that's unfair. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on this case. What do you think do you think the NWSL should adjust their age restrictions? Like, what do you think should happen?
Yeah, so for me, my quote around is like, if you're good enough, you're old. If you're good enough, you're old enough. With where NWSL is at right now, I'm kind of confused because didn't they know this? She signed like 2 years ago when she was 13. So how, like, they should have addressed this issue way beforehand, and now it's coming up. So from NWSL standpoint, Portland Thorns standpoint, I'm kind of like, all right, what's going on? But yeah, NWSL definitely needs to address this issue because as they continue to grow in stature and gain popularity and, argue against why, and there's no argument in terms of like viewership and equality and stuff like that. But as they continue to compare themselves against other leagues and MLS and USL and other leagues like that, you have to make sure that you're adequately representing your players. And Olivia's a player in your league. So let her play.
What you think, Ebun?
No, I agree with Amobi on that. It's just like, if she was anywhere else, she would be playing professionally right now, right? Especially because she's good enough. So I think the litigation is necessary because it kind of forces NWSL to have this conversation, right? One about her specifically, but then like about just the larger women's game as well. As like, look, now that the women's game is developing, you're going to have more talent coming through, and they're also going to be younger and younger. So you want to take advantage of that, because if you don't let her play, then she's just going to go somewhere else in the league, in the world. right? And then you lose that talent to somewhere in France or England or what have you. And that doesn't help the league grow because, again, right now she's the number one talked about NWSL player, and not for the right reasons, because you're not letting her play, even though everyone knows that she's good enough. So I think, it's in NWSL's best interest to kind of adjust this rule. And not just for her, but like for future, young girls coming through, because you can't say, well, no, you have to wait till you're 18 to play. It's like, that's an arbitrary age anyway, because not every player develops at the same rate. So if you have players that develop that age younger and are good enough to play, then let them play. It's as simple as that for me.
Yeah, for sure. And like they're already kind of dealing with some bad PR, I would say. This year they've had a couple of issues with, not player equality and not standing up for their players and stuff like that. And so this is just another kind of ding to an already like year where you're not looking so hot. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
should possibly find a way to to let this girl play. And as you have more young phenoms out there, like you want to keep them in your league.
Yeah.
You already have some of like the larger in women's national team players jumping over to Europe, to play during the off season and stuff like that. But you want to keep all that talent in your league. So you would want her to stay in your system.
Yeah.
You need to get unhinged from the NCAA and, let her be more traditional in terms of how, the soccer landscape works. And so if she's already playing for your youth teams in your academies, then, why not get her on that pro deal as soon as possible?
No, definitely.
Yeah. So let's move over into Champions League. I know.
Moby can't wait to talk about this. Oh God.
We ain't gonna talk about Arsenal in the Europa League. They just skidded their way out the competition. But we'll focus on the big competition. So City finishes off PSG. Chelsea knocks off Real Madrid for an All Premier League final. So a couple storylines here. We have the U.S. men's national team players guaranteed to win a Champions League trophy this year. Got Zach Stephens for City and Christian Pulisic for Chelsea. This could also be the last Champions League for both of these teams for a couple of years if UEFA gets their way and enforces a ban on these teams for trying to start the Super League or whatever. But then I want to get you guys pick who's going to win. I already kind of know Amobi's pick, but I want to get you guys' thoughts on these storylines and then also your pick to win.
Oh, so I'll go first. Chelsea's for sure going to win. They got Chelsea just has something against Pep, and I think the 3-4-3 matches up well with how Man City plays and the run of form that we have. I'm saying we like I'm on the squad. I think is big time. And when you got Conte in the midfield, like the way he's showing out, he's just a big game player. So barring any injury, barring any they shit the bed, I think they're gonna win. And I think they're gonna win. Like, I don't want to say comfortably, but they're gonna be good.
This man, big stepper right here.
Big stepper. Oh, sorry. Hey, let me talk about the other one. What'd you say? The super. I think that was just that's just negotiation leverage. They're all gonna work it out. I think that the big clubs just want a bigger portion of the revenue, so they can keep funding and driving the conversation of, business.
All right, what you think, Owen? Who's your pick?
I mean, it's like a lesser of two evils thing. I don't care for Man City. Definitely don't care for Chelsea. But I think it's interesting that this Champions League final is two teams that are supported by oil money. So in the middle of the pandemic, when a lot of clubs are struggling, of course, the two teams that have unlimited pockets are going to be in the Champions League final. I don't know. I think City's going to be very, very hard to beat. Like John Stones and Ruben Diaz in the back, them man together are just different. They're just a beast. And I don't even like talking about defenders like that, but to me, that's the bedrock of a Champions League winning team. So I see Man City getting the win on that. As far as the Super League thing, I'm over to this negotiations. The game's down to money now. Obviously, the bigger clubs want a bigger share of revenue, which makes sense because they are responsible for so much of the conversation, the money that flows in and out of the game. But I think it's also important that like the governing bodies, FIFA, UEFA, like look out for the smaller clubs, right? Because you can't just say, well, they have more money, so tough shit, like it is what it is. It's like, nah, like you have to make sure that like the game is equitable. Like, you know, more money is flowing into the smaller clubs because you want more Leicesters to be in, to, you know, have a run at the title. Like you want all these other clubs to kind of participate at the highest, because then that's really what competition is. Like if you know who's gonna, like, you know, look at the Bundesliga, like, you know, Bayern won what 9 years straight. Like that's crazy. Like, you know, if you just kind of know like what it's gonna be, and then they just, you know, bought what's his name from Red Bull. Like they just, whatever the best talent is, they just take it. I just don't think that's really good for the overall health of the game. So I think that needs to be addressed in some way. I don't know what that's going to be. I just don't think banning is going to work, because if banning works, City should not be in this Champions League final. Yeah, because for violating FFP. So it's a tough call, man. Like I don't really know what the right answer is, but I think something more needs to be done to make the game a bit more, feel more balanced, because you can't just have like them spend $2.5 billion in 10 years to buy whoever they want. Like that's crazy. Sure, they have the money to, but it's just like you need to enforce those FFP rules in some way, shape, or form. Because if you don't enforce it like they did with City, why not just you're gonna get another owner buying another club, dumping as much money as they can in the club, and just you're gonna keep buying titles, and it's just like that's not really good for the game. It's good for City fans, but as a whole, it's like you want to make sure like, yo, actually, you know what? Next year another club might win because they have a little bit more money to play with. They can attract better players because they can pay more wages because they have a bigger share of the pot, versus City just being like, yeah, well, you need who? Yeah, sure, we'll buy it. You need them too? Oh yeah, we'll buy it. So it's like, yo, what? And look at how deep their squad is. They were winning comfortably yesterday. They brought Aguero off the bench. They brought Sterling off the bench. They brought what's his name, Jesus. Like, who else can do that?
It's crazy. So, you brought up a great point though. Like Bayern buying like Red Bulls like coach. It's like some of these teams, like, but they're like feeder teams in their own league. I just don't understand that.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to me.
Like you're making your competition better.
Bundesliga for you.
Every season.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like the fact that it's allowed to happen, I think, is a problem. Like I don't know what the rules need to become, but it's almost like, okay, if you loan a player out to a club in your league, like that player can't play against you, right? Yeah. So it's like they need to have some kind of rules like that. Say, look, like, okay, if you're gonna sell a player to like a rival, like there has to be something to kind of make it a little bit more fair. You can't just be every season like Bayern just gets stronger and stronger by just poaching the best talent in the league. Like, crazy.
That's weird to me.
I think Pep finally gets over the hump with this one.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
So,
I mean, sure, you give someone $1 billion, you better.
That's what I'm saying. Like how do you think City's gonna lose? Like with Mahrez doesn't play. Oh, we'll bring on Sterling. He doesn't play. We'll bring up Bernardo Silva. Bro, what?
This would be a nice send off for Aguero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pep finally gets his Champions League with City. Everything's validated. All is well in the world. But gotta give respect to Tuchel in the way that he kind of shaped this team up. After Lampard didn't know what to do with the Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? He got it tuned up and got it working right. So gotta respect that for sure. I mean, he led PSG to the final. Was it like last year or
last year? Yeah, last year.
Back-to-back finals.
Yeah, so
you gotta put some respect on his name.
Yeah,
homie is legit. So
and I'll put my hand up too, because I was like, I don't know about Tuchel, but he's got him rocking. So, and you guys are taking City. I got to find a FanDuel, DraftKings. Put me down for Chelsea.
All right, so score predictions. What do you think? You said Chelsea's gonna win. What's the score gonna be?
2-1. 2-1. Yeah.
Okay.
2-1 Chelsea. Early goal. Man City gets to run the play, gets a goal like at the 60th. Chelsea gets one within 10 minutes. Call it a day.
Did you say goal against the run of play? City's gonna dominate that game, bro. You know it already.
Exactly. So get the goal against the run and play.
Oh, you're saying Chelsea to get the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Conte's like, Gundogan's going to be playing with the ball. Conte's going to come in. Thanks for coming. Counterattack. Goal. Then Man City's going to wake up. We're going to have to face some pressure. We're going to handle it. They might get a goal around the 60th, and then they're going to settle down, and then Chelsea's going to be like, all right. And then we get a goal, and then back and forth. 2-1. I'm telling you.
I'm going to go 2-1 the other way, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Same scenario, but I'm going to go 2-1 the other way.
I think it's going to be a City treble this year.
Okay.
Champions League, Premier League, and EFL.
That's a great point that you said, because a lot of people were talking about, it doesn't count as a real treble. So you're counting it as a treble.
Bro, if you win 3 trophies in a year, that's a treble to me. Like,
okay.
It's like everyone starts having these arbitrary rules when like you don't like the team.
It's not
like,
the FA Cup, so it don't count. Like, nah.
Yeah.
It's
everyone loves shifting the goalpost. They love shifting the goalpost.
Yep. If your team wins the EFL Cup, you're not gonna be happy. Like, like it's a cup. A cup is a cup.
Be happy winning any trophy. To be honest.
Man, speaking of trophies on Arsenal, it's about to be a drought, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
That win last year was a fluke, but it's about to be desert season out here for us because
I don't know what's about to happen, but
we look real shaky out here, bro. We're not
very. And like who's gonna want to come play for us? Like it's not looking good at all. There's no hopes of Europe, either competitions. You know what I'm saying? Like we got tight purse string owners. You know,
bro, even if we got like the players we wanted, you got to get rid of these players. Who wants these players? And then is Arteta good enough to coach them? Bro, this is
an Arsenal AA room right now.
Okay, speaking of that, let's shift the topic. So on the TV they have Hazard celebrate with Mendy and
all right, hold on. We're about to get to that.
Great podcasting though.
Yeah, perfect segue. Let's jump into no card, yellow card, red card. So this is a rapid fire game that we play on the show where I'll read off some news topics or some headlines. It could be from sports world, soccer world, or it can be from pop culture. And you'll give your opinion on that topic using the soccer card system. So no card is, I agree with it, I'm cool with it. Yellow card is I can go either way. And red card is, obviously I disagree or I'm not cool with it. And kind of give a little explanation of why you gave it that card. So to your point, Eden Hazard's kikiing it up with his boys from Chelsea after the game yesterday, after Chelsea knocked out Real Madrid. And it's become kind of a source of outrage for Madrid fans and I guess front office alike. So what card are we giving Hazard for, being all chummy after his team just got knocked out? Ebun, let you go first.
No card.
Oh, you got to explain that.
Bro, like, those are his homies. He played in Chelsea for 8-9 years, something like that. Like, it doesn't look good for the cameras. Like, that's to me what the only issue is. But it's like I don't think it's just like it is what it is, bro. Like, those are your mans. You haven't seen them in. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't played well at Madrid. He's like, yo, happy to see the boys. Circumstances are not the best, obviously, but I don't know. Let the guy live, man. It's like no card.
Okay.
Moby, I know you're again. You gotta think that's a red card.
I have to say red card because you gotta read the room. You got to read the room. Obviously, Chelsea, is like he's top 5, top 3 legend at Chelsea. But you playing for Real Madrid now, and playing for Real Madrid is a whole different ball game. It's like playing for the Yankees or playing for the Lakers. Like there's certain things that you just don't do, and then especially coupled with the fact that he's had an unfortunate time at Real Madrid. Part of it just unfortunate, part of it just because he's been unfit, and they're gonna try to make you as a scapegoat. Just wait till you get into the locker room or meet after the game. Yeah, so red card.
Okay. Respect that. All right. So last one. So we actually had two this week. So last one. No card, yellow card, red card. Sacramento's MLS bid still has some life after they're onboarding celebrities and athletes as minority owners to try and raise some more money to qualify for their MLS bid. So some of the names include Guy Fieri, Tamira Mowry Housley, and her husband Adam. So sister. one half a sister. Festus Ezeli, a former Warrior, NBA player. Eric Armstead, NFL player, former Niner. I think he's with the Colts now, right?
No, he's still with the Niners.
Oh, Eric. Oh, that's the Forrest Buckner.
Yeah.
Eric Armstead from the Niners. Uriah Faber, MMA fighter, and then E40, and then a couple more people as well. So, what card are we giving Sac Republic for trying to crowdsource their way back into MLS bid?
I guess I'll go first because it's my city. Shout out 916. I'm gonna give a red card because you're calling all these people that I know and you ain't called me yet. So I don't know what's going on. They don't really want the team to get to Sacramento. But all jokes aside, it's good. Sacramento has a way of fighting through. This happened with the Kings, and I know Sacramento has a lot of potential to get it done. There wasn't really like a big name around the names that they listed, and no disrespect to the celebrities that were listed. Like, I know a couple of them, like personally. They're moving weight, but you need that billion dollar person. So whoever it may be, call them up. Hopefully it can get done.
So it's still a red card, or
I'll give you a yellow card. Yeah, yellow card. But if they really want to push it over the line, you got to call some folks that know some folks. So
they got to call to connect over there, Mr. Frugal Athlete himself.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going with Amobi on this one. Like, whatever red card, he goes with red card. He goes yellow card, because that's Mr. Sacramento right there. So they can't get a team to Sacramento without Amobi involved. So I'm rocking with my guy on that one.
All right.
No, but all jokes aside, though, it's like some of these soccer teams don't do a good job of tapping into the community. Like that people that know like different things, and I'm not talking about it from my perspective, but you don't wait till after the fact. Like, all right, now we have a team, and like, oh, we want you to come and show your face at a game. Like, get into it like before inception. So Austin FC, they did a pretty good job. I think they could have done better. You got some other teams around the league, Oakland with Marshawn Lynch. I know we talked about it last week. Like, if you really want to tap into the community, you got to get the movers and shakers in that community, and not just when it suits you. So that's just my little rant for today.
Yeah, for sure. And that's all we got for today as well. So, perfect way to wrap that up.
Yeah, so Ebun, thank you so much for taking the time for the folks.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
No, it's definitely for the folks that may want to tap in with you. Get some merch. I'm rocking the hat. I'm rocking the shorts as well. Where can they rock out with you?
Yeah, man. So our website's livebreathefutbol.com, futbol.com. At LB Football on Instagram. My personal Instagram is at Mr. LBF. Facebook, Twitter, all that at LB Football. Perfect.
And make sure you guys tap in. He's been at it for a long time, and it's only going to go up from here. So don't ask about, when's the next drop? He got it on the website, so make sure you check it out. But that's our show for this week. Subscribe, rate, and review. It helps us get discovered. Follow us on the socials at 2Cents FC. Check out our merch at 2centsports.shop. It helps support the show. And tweet us your comments with any topics you want me or Elle to discuss. And that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoy. Out.
Awesome.
All right. Peace out.
Okay.